NelsonJoypad.com bring you another original. It's fucking great.
Where would we be without music? Even in our favourite games, the telltale impacts that these songs have can be felt. They can turn an otherwise mediocre experience into a legendarily epic one. There are countless examples from the use of music in games, from the Gregorian choir of Halo to the hauntingly beautiful music of Ori, the Blind Forest. This is a list for another day though, because today we're going through my top 10 real-world songs that have been used in games. Now these haven't been specifically written or composed for the respective games, but they have added a fantastic quality to them nonetheless. Some didn't make it into the game proper and have only been used in trailers, but the impact that these have had made me perk up and follow their intended games. Now as usual, I'm only choosing one song per game franchise. Strap in, check out my top 10 songs from games. Big Iron, Marty Robbins, Fallout New Vegas. Truth be told, I prefer Johnny Cash's version of this song, but as I wandered the Mojave Desert, fighting off rad scorpions, bandits and worse, I found this settling in like an old pair of shoes. Big Iron fits everything about New Vegas and made my random meandering much less tiresome than it otherwise could have been. All I Want, The Offspring, Crazy Taxi. Crazy Taxi had an amazing overall soundtrack. Sure, it was only about 10 minutes long, but it fits the gameplay perfectly. My favourite song from the bunch is All I Want by The Offspring. There's not much else to say, this rocks. Blow Me Away, Breaking Benjamin, Halo 2. I'm a huge Halo nut, and I was still in high school when Halo 2 was released. It was one of the first games that I had been looking forward to in a way that I have grown all too familiar with in the years since. I still vividly remember completing Halo 2 with a friend, witnessing that cliffhanger ending, and looking at my friend and asked, was that it? Well, it was. Then I heard the intro to this song over the credits. It may not have been the best way to end the game, but it was a hell of a lot better than it could have been. No time to lose, we've got to move steady. Far Away, Jose Gonzalez, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is a great game, but the moment that stands out for me is getting into Mexico, with Far Away by Jose Gonzalez playing. The beauty of the landscape with this simple guitar-based tune is one that I will always remember. Just to feel alive again. The Bomb, Pigeon John, Dead Island 2 trailer. Now I can already hear you say, but Tickles, this game isn't even out yet. How do you know what the soundtrack's like? Well, this was used in the E3 reveal trailer. I watched all of the press conferences online, and after a day filled with switching between watching the announcements and quickly writing up articles for them, by the time the Sony conference came around, I was about ready to call it a night. It was literally the middle of the night for us in the UK. I was just moving my mouse cursor to close down the stream when I heard this song. It kept me from clicking the mouse, which in turn let me see a vastly different Dead Island trailer than the ones that we'd seen before. Gone was the saddening and touching story, and it was replaced with the apocalypse set against this little toe tapper. Two Tribes, Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Grand Theft Auto, Vice City. The GTA series has had arguably the best overall soundtracks since the third installment of the franchise. The one standout song for me was from Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Set in the golden era of the 80s, it had a soundtrack that was almost as good as the sandbox gameplay. The one moment that stood out for me was riding a dirt bike to Frankie Goes to Hollywood's Two Tribes. It's just about as badass as can get. Woodkid, Iron, Assassin's Creed Revelations trailer. For anyone who's followed my top 10s on mouse and joypad, you may have noticed that this reveal trailer for Assassin's Creed Revelations was on my list of best gaming adverts, and much of that was down to this song. It is a brilliant track, and it's a tragedy that it's not in the final game.
I'm waiting for the call, the hand on the chest. I'm ready for the fight and fate. The sound of iron shocks is stuck in my head. The thunder of the drums dictates the rhythm of the thoughts, the number of days, the rising of the horns ahead, from the dawn of time to the end of days.
Superman by Goldfinger, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Tony Hawk's games had, in my opinion, some of the best soundtracks for their time, so choosing only one was a hard task. One above all others always stood out on my playlist. Superman by Goldfinger. It is catchy, upbeat, and it's a track that's always playing when I got my best combo scores. So thank you, Goldfinger. This is for helping me break 1 million points. Short Change Hero, The Heavy, Borderlands 2. The first two Borderlands games had excellent openings. The funny, yet still badass introductions to these games was what made me fall in love with them. The opening to Borderlands 2 was the best that I have seen in a first-person shooter. The badassery on show matches this track perfectly, and The Heavy's Short Change Hero is one that is on all of my favourite playlists. This ain't no place for no hero, this is Pandora. Mad World by Gary Jules, Gears of War. This was used in the first trailer that I ever saw for Gears of War. Its melancholic vibe provided a fantastic backdrop to the dark, lethal world that was portrayed in the reveal trailer for Gears. When it returned at the emotional climax of the third installment, well, I'm man enough to admit that I almost shed a precious man tear. Okay, I sobbed like a heartbroken teen. It really is the pinnacle of the impact that a song can have in a game.
Going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. Hide my head, I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind